Respectful. Okay. American Badass. Yo!
Can I buy Mr. Iguana?
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we're going to talk about WWE 2K26. Now, I just want to say shout out to all the content creators that's been dropping bangers, man. Y'all been helping me out, kind of like explore different modes in the game, giving a chance to certain modes in the game that I normally wouldn't have. Yes, universe mode, I'm going to just say out the gate, is a little bit like but however, shout out to all the creators because they've been doing their thing, man. I think this time around, all the creators have been putting out a lot of content that even myself, because I'm still, even though I do the content, I love watching a lot of other people play the game. Been putting out content that we genuinely need to see, like just the performance and just how this game is doing. But let's talk about it, man. I'm gonna give you my honest thoughts. Is it worth the money? Is it worth your purchase? Should you go out and buy WWE 2K26? And this is not a video about ragging on the game. It's more so just being honest with some of the quirks that I've noticed, along with some of the big W's that I've seen in this game. So by the time this video goes out, I've already put over probably like 40 to 50 hours into the game. So let's just, just so that for context, right? So some of the good things I've seen about the game is a bit polished. It's a little bit more polished than the previous year. Because they integrated new features like the ragdoll, which I absolutely love the ragdoll feature. I think let's get that out the way. All the clips that I've been seeing online, it's absolutely accurate. The way they integrated the weapons and how they now play a huge role with the environment, because normally, in the last iteration of WWE, sometimes when you throw enemies over like the mat or whatnot, and there's like a chair there, not every time does it affect your your wrestler or whatnot, right? Your character, whoever you pick. This time it's like fully integrated. So when they throw people off the top turnbuckle and there's a steel steps there, that will be utilized as part of the environment. And the animations are amazing. I actually like it a lot because for a long time since WWE 2K15, we felt like since the game was getting more realistic looking, more simulation, everything was stiff. Everybody felt stiff until there was an animation. So if you're a high flyer, the game is stiff, and then as soon as you input like this animation sequence, then is the only time you've seen their true speed. It was weird. This time around, I think it's a little bit more fluid, especially when you go to like the backstage brawls and you're throwing people off or cages, or you're throwing don't get your ass up here. People off the top cliffs or whatever the case. It looks incredible. I love what they've done with that. I think overall they added some new animations, they added some new tweaks, some new button prompts and stuff like that. I think it's cool. Moving forward though, from the gameplay of it, I do like that. I like the busted open animation. We're gonna get to the negative side on that though, like when they bleed and everything. I love that it pops up on the screen. All the bells and whistles with stuff like that, those are little quality of life features that I actually do enjoy a lot. Let's go to like one of the modes. We'll use that for example, the CM Punk showcase mode. I think it's better than the Bloodline showcase in my opinion, because I think they actually listened to the fans who had suggestions on, if you're gonna do like a what if, please put some like effort into the environment, the aesthetic of the arena, build like a nice story lore background that's way more concise, way more consistent, especially if it's a match like a dream match. I think last year we see some dream matches and it felt so dull. In this case, the way CM Punk is narrating it, the way even the commentators are putting together the matches and putting you involved in that match, I thought was beautiful, especially the arenas that they're using. So I felt really engaged, even though it definitely had its own like aesthetic. For example, the Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, the screw job, they had CM Punk dress up as Bret Hart. I thought that shit was amazing. I honestly thought that was cool. Yeah, the commentators kept calling you Bret, but I love the idea of how the aesthetic looks, the what ifs. That's basically what a what if truly is in a dream match. I thought that was awesome. I also like the fact that they listened and they made a separate mode next to the CM Punk showcase and did a whole gauntlet. And let me just tell you, I couldn't beat the gauntlet. I think it's automatically on the hardest difficulty, and I keep losing on like the fourth person, which on my end it's the Rock. It's the final boss Rock, and I think there's up to 20 bosses. Honestly, that right there was what made me feel like this year's showcase was absolutely amazing, because it reminds me of like the Mortal Kombat like tower. You're gonna go through your series of people to fight, but it just gets more difficult and more difficult. I love how they did it, man. You could pick between AJ Lee and CM Punk, But truly and honestly, I think they did a great job with that, man. They have so many people in their roster. It's insane. Finally, I feel like it's always awkward with their roster. You always get like one version or two versions of The Rock, and I'm like, all right, it's either the 1998 one or you get The Rock from like the current day Rock. And I'm like, dude, there's like 5 versions of The Rock you could have brought. Even like Rocky Maivia they brought in, but there's so many different versions of The Rock. John Cena, of course, CM Punk. They have different versions of Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Triple H finally, because I don't know what it was. They would only bring in like 1 or 2 versions of Triple H, same thing with The Undertaker. And then they finally also brought in Kane. I do have my gripes with the Kane suggestions, but we'll get into that too. But I just wrote it on my list. I do feel like they did add enough, and they did add a lot of different superstars to this current day roster. But again, we're going to talk about the other side of it, okay? Now, I do love that they added new weapon mechanics and features to the game. For example, submissions using some of the weapons. You can now use thumbtacks and smack them with the bag, and it affects the environment itself. So like if you slam somebody, you're gonna see blood, you're gonna see it all. I love stuff like that. I love how it feels like they reworked the Hell in a Cell or the cages, if I'm not mistaken. It feels a little bit more consistent. There's a little bit more wiggle room when you walk around, whereas it always felt stiff in animation. But I feel like this time around they truly fixed it. I think the MyRise, we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to actually let's talk about that in a second. Engaging with the crowd, or like bringing your superstar over to the crowd areas, was awesome. I think it builds immersion. I think having the environment exactly like the little pillar thingies where the audience stands behind, I think it's awesome to fight on that, and to use all kinds of weapons in the backstage brawls, all the new maps that they use on that, the arenas that they brought back. So there's a lot of fun stuff that they truly brought back for the fans. I think also, and I hate to say this, it's pretty cool. I'm not defending the battle pass. I am not defending the battle pass. I think it's pretty cool because every year they try to find a way to help you unlock like belts that, you know, they always do, like all that free stuff. You gotta do challenges. In this case, they threw those, instead of the challenges, they threw it on the free battle pass. So I think it's pretty cool. You grind for it and you can unlock RXP throughout every mode. I'm just gonna flat out say I don't like the battle pass though. That premium, I don't like it. We're gonna talk about it in a second, okay? Community creations are awesome. I think the character customization, the create a wrestler, I think they did a wonderful job. I think they added so many different features, so many different things to it, from entrances over to stables and having up to 5, which I wish it was up to 8. I think like having more wiggle room to build bigger factions would have been awesome. However, they made it up to like 5, of course, and they kind of fixed the layout of it, but they added so much detail to it, so much customization. So I can't really wait. I can't wait to see a lot of people's customizations, especially those who create for the community. They create some of their favorite creators and stuff like that. And I think it's awesome. I think they added a lot of detail to it. The gameplay, going back to that, I think is really fun, really engaging. The camera that they've added, the rear camera, everything is awesome on that front. The commentators are funny, the commentators are cool, and overall, let's talk about the online play. I didn't get a chance to fully play the island. I wanted to dedicate time on the island, so I'm only gonna say that they let you carry over your character, because I think they let you carry over. I can't really remember. However, they added a little bit more detail to it. You could prestige in there, which I thought was dope, but I didn't put that enough time, so I can't really tell you if the island is worth playing. I just know on paper, I was disappointed. I did not like the way the island was being put out, 2-player factions, and like that's all you can do. Like that right there just told me I'm gonna just play that on my own time. I'm gonna just give that some time before I even stream it, whatever. Online, we actually had a success on my stream. You know, I ended up hosting, and we ended up having almost all of our matches work out. So I love that. I love the fact that hosting it, we had 8 players, and it was actually more stable than we thought. I am going to speak on some of the negatives though. We're going to get to that. However, everything I'm telling you today is really strictly about gameplay, about stability, and some of the features, bugs, and all that other stuff. Of course, you want to know about my GM. You want to know about my faction. It's the same thing. Like my GM though had a huge bump this year. There's a draft. There's so much stuff. Yes, in the universe mode, I feel like some people are still locked to certain rosters or whatever the case. My faction, it's only gonna go up with money, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Like they added so many superstars on there, but it's gonna cost a lot of money to really get in your bag. It's like my team. So hey, choose, pick your poison on that one, bro. Choose whatever you want to do. Let's actually talk about the negatives, because I do have some strong negatives on this game. Okay, let's talk about some of the negatives. Let's go back to the CM Punk showcase now. I'm actually gonna address that one first. I feel like that needs to still be addressed. I cannot sit here and not talk about it. Although I love how they put out the showcase this year alongside the gauntlet, and I love like the fluidity, the gameplay, the challenges are not as ridiculous as last year. They're somewhat easy. However, it is very repetitive. So almost every match asks you to put damage on them as soon as the match starts. Everything is, hey, put some damage on him, whip his ass, he wants to feel it, and then like you have to do the same thing. However, it feels a little empty. It feels dull. It feels safe. I don't know if that makes any sense. They added all these matches, all these match types. They have him commentating over it, which I think he does a wonderful job. CM Punk commentating on his story and where he was at in this particular match with a specific wrestler, and he gives a nice story background to it. So even with the what ifs and the dream matches and the could have beens or whatever, he does a great job at narrating it. The gameplay though, it's almost like I could play it on the hardest difficulty, but the actual tasks, I'm cool with them not being overly difficult. It's just repetitive. It's almost the same thing every time. Like almost every time, unless there's a crazy moment that happened in his matches, they want you to grab and do 3 grapple moves on him. They want you to throw them to the turnbuckle, standing, dazing. It gets a little bit repetitive to the point where even though like you're getting through it, I feel like I kind of know what's the next step. There was times I was completing challenges and did not even look at what the challenges were, because they're almost as repetitive every time. So with that, I was just like, okay, like, all right, it got a little repetitive on that, but I'm not going to complain too much because I think the Bloodline showcase was whack as hell. Looking back now, all those dream matches to me were not really dream matches. Ain't nobody really looking for those to be dream matches. I'm sorry, I'm speaking for everybody. Screw that shit. I'm speaking for everybody. And the Tamina Snuka one with the ladder, that was the worst shit ever in the game. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. That was whack. I wasn't dealing with it. And in the way Roman was utilizing that showcase, it was like, he was like barely there. So I didn't, right there, that threw me off. The big plus though with CM Punk showcase was they rewrote history. Like they had you winning your matches. They didn't let you go out there and lose like John Cena. He actually rewrote history. So I thought it was awesome the way they did that. Now, another thing about it is that was also where I started recognizing the whole Pyro, that feature where they allow you to pull the crowd in, whether cheering and booing, and adding Pyro to the extreme, minimum, medium, as well as in-ring like flames and pyros that goes on each turnbuckle. That feature that they added, I can't stand it. For the life of me, let me just put this out there. So I believe you can customize it when you create a superstar, or maybe when you edit superstars, you can go in and customize it. I think, can y'all let me know? Can somebody confirm that? You can go in and add other flares of cool stuff. You can add different pyro, whatever, I guess. But everybody and their mother has the same animation. The feature's there, but I will tell you, I got tired of it so quick. So, and this is playing the CM Punk showcase. If other modes changed up their pyro, please let me know. But I noticed every time a superstar came out, I would go on like the first, second, or third gear, gauge or whatever you want to call it, of like them getting hype, right? I even did it to the Undertaker, and Undertaker does not do this. He's walking down with his hoodie and shit like the dead man. And once you spark it up to 3, he's shaking his head like he's a rock star. And I'm like, dude, I thought they were going to get unique with it. I thought every major superstar was going to get their own uniqueness. I also thought they were going to get like even crazier with the pyro. The pyro really like bland. Like it just bursts right there. Then there's another one that just bursts, that's in, and it just stays a little bit longer. And I just thought like, wow. I even seen the ones where you play heel when you're coming out from the entrance and you support more of the heel side, so you spam down. And you got Undertaker going like this and every other superstar. And I'm like, oh, it's like defaulted. It's like defaulted to everybody. So if you could change it, cool. It should have automatically been that way for the big superstars in the game. You should have had that laid out for big superstars to have their own uniqueness. That's like NBA 2K, like, you know, the key players of the game, the big superstars in that game got their own dribble move sets and everything. And I guess the motherfuckers who sit on the bench all day eating cookies and shit just get their regular stuff. I don't know. But yeah, that one, I'm already tired of that feature. I'm not gonna lie. I truly am. Another thing too is just the frustration of like the renders in the game. So in the game, some of the superstars don't have renders, and I'm like confused. So for example, like you'll go to like certain Triple H models and you'll just see his in-game, like the video game character screenshot. They're still doing that. I'm sitting here like, dude, why are you still doing that? And there's so many screenshot renders to the time period. Like if you're trying to find DX Triple H, he has like a mop on his head. He looks horrible. I think his render looks horrible. But instead of just grabbing a Triple H DX photo that you could have just added as his render, y'all don't put no render on it. Not only that, you added like 9 versions of CM Punk and only 1 or 2 of them has a render. It just makes me feel like I'm downloading community creations and adding it to my roster. Like it feels lazy to me. It doesn't feel like I have an authentic render of CM Punk. And that goes hand in hand. I forgot who it was that they had. They have a certain superstar. Oh, they have Eddie Guerrero. And I feel like the Eddie Guerrero that they had, he was with WWE already. But that version of Eddie Guerrero was supposed to be WCW. Like before. But they have a render of him when he was in WWE. So like they got the renders wrong again. Or they got the actual image of them for that time wrong. So I'm like, okay, they're doing that again. Another problem that I have is some of the overalls are still not making sense. They putting that Eddie Guerrero as a 76. They got certain superstars that are way lower than I expected again. And I'm like super confused. Not everybody is up to date on their attire. Like Aleister Black got his up to date fit. At least I think it's up to date, but Zelina Vega don't. And they got like their little couples thing going on with their gear. Some people don't have their stuff up to date. For the most part, I feel like the overalls are a little bit consistent this year compared. But yeah, also a lot of dudes are just locked behind some shit. Like Stone Cold, The Rock need to stop being locked behind stuff. Why do we have to keep unlocking the same people every year? I'm being honest. We got to stop unlocking the same superstars every year. I'd rather you lock modern day superstars. Why we keep locking guys like The Rock and Stone Cold? Like, that's ass, bro. Like, stop locking the same superstars. Kane. There's the Daniel Bryan, like during that time, they got that Kane in like an overall 79. I don't know if I agree with that, but they got 3 versions of Kane, and I feel like they could have added a little bit more versions of Kane. That's just me being honest. That's me just rambling on. But overall, they have the overalls that some of them need to be tweaked out, in my opinion. The renders are a little bit lazy. Now let's talk about the character models. I don't know what happened, but if you look at Undertaker's character model, and I hope I get to that in this video, I'm gonna expect him. Okay. American Badass. Yo!
Can I buy Mr. Iguana?
Show a screenshot. I don't know who the hell that is, but he looked dead with his eyes open. Seriously. Not only that, Randy Orton in that showcase with CM Punk looks horrible. He looks like John Cena and like a lieutenant sergeant had a baby. Yo, he has John Cena and Brock Lesnar's haircut during their prime. He looks awful. Like Randy Orton looks awful. Some of the models this year, I'm super confused. Like, in my opinion, Seth Rollins' model in that showcase looked bad. He looks like his eyes are all the way inside of his skull. Like, it looks bad. Like, some of the models do look bad. I know I'm being petty right now, but that's just some of the complaints I have. Another thing too, universe mode, you gotta like think with your brain and build up a whole new story on your own, because they have repetitive cutscenes again. It's not as deep as we thought it was gonna be. Yes, it's fun. Yes, I think universe mode has its draft or whatever, but it don't have like huge stories to tell. Like, it's still it's still a little bit wonky. I think that mode specifically needs to be built from the ground up. Like, they need to truly build that game from the ground up, even with each mode, and that mode in particular. Absolutely. I think the MyRise, because I played it, MyRise is cringy. MyRise dialogue sucks. And look, this is the part where y'all gonna start commenting. You see, I told you. I'm just telling you guys how it is. All these storylines in that game don't happen in the IRL right now. So why are you giving us, they don't even respect new wrestlers in the WWE. Why are you giving me this MyRise and me rising to fame and me coming back from an injury? You know they don't even respect motherfuckers that are new. So like, I don't even know why they have the story built out a certain way like that. It was, you know, it's not as, and I wish you could have backstage, you know, you could walk around freely, like completely, fully, not like in certain like little peaks right here. That right there kind of like bugged me a little bit. The battle pass, I think adding sapphire or whatever it is, green or sapphire, which is blue, adding like my faction cards to the premium. Not everybody plays that. So honestly, you're unlocking a lot of stuff that, you know, some people are not going to play. Plus adding sapphire to a premium battle pass is diabolical in my opinion. I don't even know why you would add that to a premium battle pass. Like, I think that shit disrespectful, because like premium, like sapphire ain't shit, chat. Like, it's actually trash. Like, there's nothing special about sapphire cards in my faction. They're like 75 overalls. They're trash. So that being in a battle pass, it's almost like underwhelming, because what happens next season? Are you guys gonna bump it up? Like, I just don't know how that format's gonna work. Another thing too, the game has a lot of bugs, man. There's a lot of bugs in the game. It'd be like doing a lot of auto animations. Some of the animations it gets quirky a little bit sometimes. Sometimes when you throw people to the ropes, your character will like do an animation like as if it's doing a move, but there's nothing to be prompt yet. Sometimes the cutscenes for me were being skipped. But yeah, overall, I think as they worked on everything else, the game still is from last year. I truly feel like they reworked the game from last year. And because they dropped PS4 and last gen, we're not seeing a full built out game until next year. Like, the game's graphics ain't even, like, the character models, like the body, the sweat engine, the blood, it look all cool. Well, blood I'm gonna talk about, but it looks cool. However, you could still see that as soon as it gets right here up, some of their faces look muddy and stuff like that. I feel like next year we're gonna fully see the technology hit. Like, it's gonna fully hit because it's only gonna be for current gen. They didn't just knock off PS4 and then built it from the ground up. No, they knocked off PS4 and Xbox One, and only made this for current gen and PC. But that doesn't mean that they went in and did from the ground up all these reworks. No, there's a lot of bugs that's going on right now. Sometimes with the online, and what my only issue with the online is that it's working. It feels like peer-to-peer or whoever got the best connection. Because if one person lags out or the host lags out, we're done. Like, I just hate that shit. I wish it worked through these servers from 2K and not necessarily like I'm host advantage, and I just don't like that either. One of the biggest things for me in this game is the blood. Like, you bleed a lot. You bleed fast as hell in this game, like, you know, relatively quick. I don't think they're gonna change it because a lot of your challenges in the showcase and all that stuff is to bust somebody's head open. However, the blood looks terrible. So from a distance as you're playing, sometimes superstars will get blood all over their face to like right here, and I thought it was awesome. But the way the blood hits the mat, it's like so unnatural, and sometimes it like doesn't even appear on the floor when you land on the ground. Also, the blood looks like makeup. Like, when you're up close doing an animation, putting in a submission hold, you see it like in a certain way. I kind of feel like next year they're gonna add this whole thing where blood might drip, or it'll gradually grow or whatever, because you could see the I said the bullshit. You could see the swelling and the discoloration, like of your ribs, your back getting messed up, your chest getting, because of chops and everything. You do see that. You see wear and tear on your body, but that blood, I'm like 50-50, because 1 second I love how it looks, you know, everybody just bloodied up, but the next minute it starts looking like fake blood on a Chucky doll. Like, I know, granted, I got Chucky's in my background, but yeah, it just looks like that. So there's stuff like that I'm just like, okay. However, overall, I think the game is way more solid. It's been built to fix all the issues that we had prior, but there's still some concerns about some of the stuff they've added and some of the stuff that feels repetitive in the game. All in all, I feel like the game, if you enjoy 25, you will absolutely enjoy 26. I feel like even with the ringside pass, them confirming the Hardy Boys, they have listened more to the fans this year, because they're not just putting celebrities down your throat. It seems like they've listened more this year. If there's more negatives, I'll let you guys know. Again, I didn't play out every mode, but I do feel like if you're gonna spend your $70, you could definitely get your money's worth because it's an upgrade from 2K25, although it has all the bells and whistles of 2K25. But it has a lot of features that I think you guys would like. So if you guys want to buy it, I would suggest, hey, give it a try. But hopefully they do fix a lot of the little bugs and quirks that we've had. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy this video? I have more gameplay in the background from the streams. I love y'all so much. I'm out of here. God bless. Peace.